Okay.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay.
Okay,
I just got that out of the way. Yeah, right. So
I will just repeat what I said about building your network as soon as you can. Don't wait for your certificate. I'm telling you now. Okay. So build your network, create a good story on your timeline so that when finally you are connecting with recruiters and they check you out on LinkedIn, what they will see there is your living resume. How are you interacting with others? How are you helping others? Because in Salesforce, the Ohana, as we call the Salesforce community, is very important. Okay.
All right.
And the best way to get a job is by your network.
That is very important advice. All right, Lory. So you talked a little bit about your transition from the hospital. Did you have any fears going into Salesforce, taking this leap?
I had, when I considered doing Salesforce, I actually decided not to renew my nursing license. It was scary. It was scary. And I was like, will I actually be able to find a job before my emergency funds run out? So those are the major things. And how do I make myself visible to the hiring managers? How do I set myself apart? How do I stand out? Because we are essentially competing worldwide. There are, especially in India and even the Philippines, where I came from, companies are hiring mostly developers from those countries.
Lory, yeah.
So those are the difficulties.
Did you have any challenges while you were getting your first certification?
Well, the main challenge about that was the loneliness of studying. Plus, when you are on the super badge, supposedly you are not supposed to ask for help,
right?
Solutioning your super badges. Badges, they're okay. But super badges, you have to take that seriously because it helps you really learn to solution a use case. So you have to really put your mindset into being a critical thinker and a systems designer of some sort, So make it a chance for you to piece together what you learned on the trail mix and challenge yourself. Because if you do that, you won't worry when you get hired if you will actually be able to do the job.
All right, so you were building your brand, you were making those connections, and you got certified. What challenges did you have before landing your first Salesforce job?
Well, the main challenge was making sure that I was seen. I actually did ask someone who was sharing all these information about, okay, this recruiter reached out to me and this is the job. It's like, how come you're getting messages from recruiter? How does that happen? So when she said, just connect with recruiters. So aside from that, what I did was I was connecting to employees of companies. So what I learned to do, if I was seeing one of my friends post, I'm thrilled to announce that I got hired by so-and-so. I click on that company. I look at the employees there and see if I have connections there. Of course, I congratulate that network that got hired. And then I look at the recruiters in that company. I connect with them. I don't necessarily say anything if I'm not ready to apply. But what I had in mind when I was requesting connection with the recruiters and the employees of the companies is that if they were going to be my coworkers or my hiring managers or the recruiter who would interview me in the future, I want them to see how I am performing on LinkedIn. I want them to see how I am interacting now, because I want to establish that trust so that by the time I'm ready to apply, the moment they saw my certificate, they were the ones knocking on my door.
So yeah, that's really helpful. As someone that's in the job hunt right now, that's really, really helpful information. So you said you would say you put more emphasis in making those LinkedIn connections versus like filling out job applications, LinkedIn Easy Apply.
Yes, by the time that I was certified, even before, actually, my network, the people in my network, they were the ones sending me job openings or their hiring managers or their recruiters.
Yes. All right, so how about you talk a little bit about your current job and how you fell into that role?
So this job, I work at Booz Allen. It's quite a big one, and they mostly have government agencies as their client. And they don't only have Salesforce; they have other technology that they do, like, and they do something like cybersecurity, etc., etc. So how I got into here, back when I was still doing the superset, to break the monotony of Trailhead, I was attending webinars. One of the webinars was, there were the panelists that were, I realized later, looking at who was interacting, who was asking good questions, meaningful questions, willing to learn from the panelists. So, and every time, and that was Lory. I don't know if you're familiar with that company, Lory, and the host is Shalyn Brand. So I was regularly attending their webinars, trying to learn, basically they would talk about various roles, various tips also for branding, etc., etc. And one of the most meaningful questions I asked before was, but how do I translate my skills from nursing into Salesforce? I really have a hard time, I said. And so they gave tips, etc., etc. But the person who was actually in the panel who answered me there, she kept an eye on me. And every time I would attend their webinars, another person within the same company would call me out on the chat. Hi, Lory, kind of like that. Once I log in. So I was like, oh my God, they remember me. Make them remember you when you attend the webinars. So 3 weeks before I got certified, that person who answered my question encouraged me to apply to their company, look at the job board, see what positions I was interested in. And at the time, it was Liberty TS, Technical Solutions. So Liberty, not yet Booz Allen. So I applied. The problem was, after I was certified, they were in the process of being absorbed by Booz Allen. So that it took some time before the recruiter reached out to me about my application. I was almost ready to give up. And then suddenly there was the email. And I got in.
Nice. That's exciting. How did you adapt to your Salesforce tech job?
A lot of, I would say the most important thing really is communication. So doing the tech part of it, it's like learning EHR, right? So you can learn that. And then I don't know if you've, at some point while using the electronics medical record, thought, why can't they do something like this to make it easier? Like, you wish you had that magic to make it more user-friendly. So now when I was doing the trailhead, the trail mixes, a lot of times I would find myself, oh, this is like in the EHR, only nurses can see this, the CNAs cannot, something like that when I was studying the security settings and whatnot. So I was always trying to look for parallels, so that really it's just getting to know where things at in the platform. And that's the value of the trailhead. And then you need to apply your critical thinking. And then you need to learn how to reach out to those who can mentor you. If you're stuck, you need to know your limitations. Don't try to be a hero. If you have a team you can lean on, like we do in hospitals, if you're drowning, you don't drown by yourself. Try to get others help you so they can lift you up too, right? Or you drown altogether. So yeah, those are the things that you need to transfer to this work. Technical is easy to learn. Always remember that. Technical, a lot of hiring people, they don't want you to be the expert. They expect you to be entry level. They don't want you to answer questions as if you know everything. No, they want to see humility. They want to see you wanting to learn more. They want to see you excited that there are plenty of other things that you will learn throughout time. They want to see you willing to be mentored. Okay, remember, you will be applying for an entry-level position. They don't expect you to be experts. If you're experts, they won't be able to afford you. Okay? So yeah, willingness to learn, play in the playground. Don't be content with just the trailhead playground. Once you see something, let's say, if you've been on the trailhead for a while now, you will notice that there are modules, there are projects. The projects, what I did when I was still reviewing, because I was seeing a lot of talks about flows and retiring the process builder and workflow, I saw some projects that had to do with flows. So I did those modules to break the focus on force review. And so it got me into, I got more knowledge because of that. And then I kept trying to apply that when I was building my portfolio. I was like, I wonder if I can do the same thing here. How can I automatically send an auto response? I used the flow to send an auto response to whoever signed my guest book on my portfolio, something like that. So always try to look for things that you can use as a use case that will cement what concepts you're learning on Trailhead and how you can apply them. Once you got that down pat, then you are ready to face a client.
Awesome. All right. So are you currently working remotely? Are you in office, hybrid? And how did you adjust to that from the hospital?
Well, I'm fully remote. How did I adjust? I have a confession to make. Even though we are client facing, I'm really an introvert. I love my own company. And I never get bored just being by myself. But I love this. I love this kind of company. If
interaction, yeah.
This company, because I hate small talks.
So, what do you like most about your job at Booz Allen?
And this is probably kind of specific to Booz Allen, the way they handle newcomers. So we had to go through the Salesforce Academy, which is like a boot camp, but it's a full-time employment with full benefits. And now that I'm off that, I was on 2 months of being on the bench, meaning I wasn't on any project. So I was just studying. There's no one being a hawk over me.
Mm-hmm.
I had autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
There was that trust, and during that time, I earned another certificate, and then now I'm in a project. It's so enjoyable to me. I was learning a lot. They are so good at mentoring. They were so good in the sense that they don't spoon feed you. They just nudge you to the right direction and then let you do the rest of the figuring out what to do. Okay. So I love that here. But it can be different in other companies. But that's what I love about my job. There's a lot of learning. Some people have told me I should be a recruiter because of all the people I'm trying to help get jobs. But I'm like, I'm enjoying.
You would be such a recruiter.
I love the technical aspect, but I'm not. I don't think at this point, I don't think I will ever want to be a developer, which is no. So there's two types of developer, right? The declarative, which is the point and click, drag and drop kind, and the programmatic, which is the hard code, what you call that? Hardcore coding. I don't want that.
Okay. That was actually my next question is what is your personal career growth trajectory and what other possibilities or certifications are you considering from here?
So my next target actually, so I've had after the admin, I've had the platform app builder. Those are the two that are most important for you to learn how to configure and really understand the platform. And then after that, I had the service cloud. I'm targeting experience cloud. After that, I want to do the health cloud accreditation. Health cloud accreditation and there are other accreditations. When they say accreditation, you do that through the Partners Learning Camp, which you will get access to via the company that hired you. But if you attended the last session with Tina Woodall, the Health Cloud guru of our group, she gave a trick for you to be able to get into the Partners Learning Camp even if you are not employed. So that was off recording. So I'm not going to say how. Reach out to her if you're in the group.
Gordon from the chat, he had a funny question. Is Lory's background a sauna? Very cool if it is.
A sauna? What's that? I don't even know that.
It's like a room with like the mist, the dry heat for the sweating.
Is there?
No. No. All right. So next question. So what advice would you give to us newly transitioning into Salesforce? You already gave so many pieces of advice, but.
The most important that I would like to emphasize really is visibility. Mm-hmm. Okay. You might know how to make a good and engaging post. You might know how to remember to to share to the world what it is that you accomplished, badges, super badges, certificates. But do you have the audience? Mm-hmm. Do you have the right people in the audience? Who are the right people? People who will recruit you, the hiring managers, and your potential coworkers, and your friends who will refer you to these people. Make sure they're there. Make sure they see how you're growing in your journey.
So David had a great question. He said, if everyone is using a lot of the same tactics to stand out, what sets us apart from each other?
Okay. When I was starting, what I was noticing with my contemporaries, they would post about badges and super badges. Okay. And I had the same question. We're all posting the same thing. What can I do that will make me stand out? That's when I wanted to make an app. And I was so afraid that I would get criticisms from the experts. But nope, all I got was encouragement. And some people who were already working in some companies sent me a message after that first app that I built that I posted about. Lory, don't forget to apply to so-and-so once you have your certificate. So keep posting about those apps, no matter how you think they're too simple or too stupid. Nothing is stupid. Show them what you are trying to learn by focusing on showing what you are. And don't, so if you have been following Talent Stacker members for a while now, so it has become also a trend to post about the project that we do after we get the certificate. So now I'm seeing the same thing. Okay, everyone's posting the same project. So now it's getting harder to set yourself apart, right?
Yeah.
But I'm a big advocate of having your own YouTube channel. And no matter how short a video you make, let's say you created the flow to send an auto response to blah, blah, blah. Why not? Okay, post about it. Remember that when you post something on YouTube, the attention span or the time available of whoever is watching is very short typically. So get your message across, make a good presentation without boring the person. Just focus on the important points. And that's it. And kind of just post about it on LinkedIn and invite people to ask questions if they have any after they watch your video, something like that. Okay.
Yeah, great questions, David. Keep the questions coming. I would love to hear a little bit about how and when you created the Healthcare Heroes Force and when that idea kind of popped in your brain.
So yeah, after I started building my apps, I was essentially making an app like every week. The third app that I built was actually my portfolio. And I was inspired by some other portfolios that I saw, that when I built mine, it was so whimsical. And I made a very, very, very short clip of that, like a teaser. And that got a lot of people interested. So I held workshops, even though I was afraid because I was not certified at the time. And some of the attendees were even like developers, certified 3 times, they were attending. And I felt the love. I felt the encouragement. I really felt alive. I felt that I had a community that I really, really belonged to. And I felt very useful despite my lack of expertise. And that's when I said, I got to let the healthcare people who are also wanting to exit that this is really a great place to be and that we can help others. Even in non-clinical setting, we can still help others. Plus, there's the Health Cloud. So I was like, I want to find these people and tell them about it. I share my experience. So someone who had, with that in mind, I was trying to see among my connections who had a healthcare background. And then I would, open the discussion about having the same background. And one of them encouraged me to form a group on LinkedIn. I did actually apply for a Trailblazer community group, but at the time I did not even realize that they did not accept applications for a group if you did not have a certificate and at least 1 year of experience. So that was probably why I was rejected. So LinkedIn group, it was. And I had the Talent Stacker members to lean on to at least help form the nucleus. So there were a few who joined, and I started this kind of informational interviews, instead of me reaching out to other healthcare people who have successfully made the transition and asking them the questions, I thought, why not share to the other healthcare workers? So we have been collecting in stories like mine in our group.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a wild ride, from the portfolio building that I held workshops from that catapulted me to popularity. And then having this Healthcare Heroes Force group, it's like that was the culmination. And I thought that was it, but there are more exciting things happening right now, I can tell you, but I cannot say it yet.
I know those teasers you've been posting. All right. Amanda from the chat asks, any resources for creating your own YouTube videos?
I was just using the Vimeo.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar, guys, with Vimeo? So I would record myself using that. I typically don't use my face in the videos that I create. I just focus on the screen, and then once that is done, I download to my computer right away and delete the Vimeo recording so that I don't have a lot of memory on their cloud. And then I would edit. I'm not good at video editing. So I would just,
a lot of work.
Typically I would just trim.
Right.
Then I would upload to YouTube.
Right. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
People still find value. So
awesome. Okay. So you got certified, you're thriving in the community. I'd love to ask, how did you recruit your son into the ecosystem? What did that conversation go like?
Well, the moment I started the trailhead, actually, I've been wanting to get my sons to study with me for selfish reasons. I did not want to study by myself. Plus, I was like, what if they're, more tech savvy than me? Maybe they can help me instead of me trying to post online and hope that someone will answer. But the 5-day Salesforce challenge seemed like an MLM to them. Plus, I had nothing to show, so they were not joining in. And finally, I got this job, and I showed them my paycheck.
That did it.
In between, I was sharing all. There were a lot of screenshots in the Talent Stagger group. It's common for members who landed their jobs. Some of them even post how much they were offered, and I would post. I would take screenshots of them, and I would share in chat messages with my sons with those screenshots. So finally, my son, after having been employed as a physical therapy assistant for a few months, he realized where the direction was going as far as pay goes, reimbursement issues. So it's like, okay, I better take the Salesforce route now. So
have you convinced anyone else to join Salesforce other than your
I'm still working on my second son.
Yeah.
My husband is jealous of me, but he's deep into his business now and he can just get out of that.
So Amanda and Krista kind of asked similar questions. How does the work schedule compare to when you were working clinical, and how is the work-life balance?
Okay. Clinical, I was working in the hospital. I worked night shift, 3 shifts a week or overtime, time and a half pay if you're working holiday, right? Now, our official time is 9 to 5 Eastern. Of course, it will vary where you are. But my home satellite office is that time zone. My boss, understanding that others don't have the same schedule, or are just, they get up late or they rise up early. She just wants us to be like available from 9 to 4 for, let's say, they need to reach out to you or you'll have meetings, but you can adjust that. Let's say you have to go to an appointment sometime at 1 o'clock. You just have to let your teammates know. If there is something that you're supposed to present, you have to let someone else cover for you, just like in hospital. You're going to be gone, you need coverage. But that rarely happens for now, before I am getting into a real external project. That's how it has been. I would just tell them I'm going to be out at this point during the day or the following days, etc., etc. We don't have to request PTO 6 weeks ahead of time. Like I would just tell them if it's going to be a long period that I'm going to be away, I just need to tell them so that they don't put work on me. Like because we're working on what we call tickets. If you've been exposed to user stories and Jira, so there are like requirements that they might assign you to solution. So if you're going to be gone, they might as well, okay, let's not give her work because she won't be able to solution for this and she won't be able to present this at the end of the sprint. A sprint is like a small chunk of the big project. So you work on the project small sections at a time. So that's how flexible it is. I can also get up early, like 7 o'clock and start working and then take 2 hours off during the day when we don't have meetings. And I would not feel guilty, something like that. And if there's not much work, because there's also downtime, then I use that to study Trailhead for the next certificate that I'm targeting. In between, they encourage you to get up and have exercise, like 5-minute exercises every hour or even every 30 minutes. And that's fine. So do some chores.
That's awesome. Great questions, guys. Keep the questions coming. So how long have you been at Booz Allen, Lory? Now, have you been there a year?
No, I started May. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. So not a year yet.
Nope.
All right, let's see. Crystal asks, after getting the certificate and while looking for a job, would you recommend working on the next certificate or focus on increasing visibility?
I would say focus on increasing visibility. There was a point before I got employed that I was interviewing with Salesforce. You know what the most important to them when they were interviewing me was? They saw that I was a ranger. And at the time, they did not realize that I was already certified. She was already kind of discussing salary expectations and whatnot. And then, so you're a ranger, blah, blah, blah. You can be in this, blah, blah, blah. Then I'm also certified. I just got certified. Oh, you are? That even brings you to tier 2 or 3 and you can have this much, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. And then I saw there's an article from Salesforce about that. So you better look at that article because they want the ranger. Why is it important? It shows that you've done 100 badges. It shows that you really went into the org and played in the playground. They don't want you to be certified, and then you don't know what to do with the org. They'd rather see you that having more super badges than having a lot of certificates and then no badges on your, and it's important in your contact info, put your Trailhead profile link. Okay. A lot of the hiring managers will look at what badges you've done, because even if you're a ranger, if you're just doing some easy badges, that won't impress them. Okay. It's like fluff. So yeah. Did I answer the question?
You did. You absolutely did. Are you finding that companies are, oh, this is from Dean, sorry. Are you finding that companies are going back to in-person? And how do you suggest encouraging an employer to give work at home permissions?
For my company, it's not going back to in-person. And they are giving the option for those people who want to go to the office. So there are a few who would like that kind of company. So, but for the most part, it's mostly remote. And I don't know how to deal with other companies, to be honest. I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah. That's a difficult.
But if you are looking to only do remote, I would say that during interview, if you have the capacity to really be remote, if that's what you want, then bring it up. And some employers, I've heard of some employers who would be flexible enough to allow you to be remote.
Mm. Tyler asks, is it hard to make quality connections with people when you meet on LinkedIn, and what helps keep those relationships strong?
What keeps the relationship strong is you have to remember it's not all about you. It's a community. When you post, it's not enough that you say, look at me, look at what I have done, look at my achievements. No, that's not enough. You look at the other people's achievements, you praise them, you congratulate them, be happy for them. Even if you are falling behind, celebrate the wins of others. Lift others up and you will be lifted. When you engage in someone else's post, they remember you, especially if you're following some influencers like David Nava. I don't know if you've been following my posts on LinkedIn, but essentially the 12 days of Thanksgiving that I'm creating at the moment is my journey and the people that were involved. So a lot of these people, some of them actually are influencers, as in they're all over. Some of them, they're all over, but they're low profile. They want to work in the background. They are looking one of them, when she started mentoring me voluntarily, I was like, what did you see? Why did you target me? Lory, you've been helping others. Even as a nurse, you were helping others. Now you're helping a lot of people with portfolio building. And now you have this Healthcare Heroes Force group that you're trying to help these people transition to Salesforce. So I want to support you. So, and that's the kind of meaningful connections that I have made. And when they see you working, not just for yourself, but also to help others, then they want to help you. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. That's what happens. So engage with other people's posts, try to help if you can. And if you can help others solve a small problem that, even as a beginner, you have the capacity to solve, then go ahead and offer your time. It's a mental exercise too, right? So, and they will appreciate that. Sometimes you might not be even able to solve the problem, but you tried, and they will see that. They will remember you. So that makes it meaningful.
Mila asked, what is the biggest challenge you face from job perspective, since it is very different than nursing career?
When I was on the bench, my biggest challenge was that how will I get to be on a project? I wasn't sure, because a lot of the people in my company are not as active on LinkedIn as I am. So and I don't know, I feel awkward to kind of connect with them on LinkedIn to just start asking or kind of imply that, hey, look at me, I'm a good person. Trust me, you can put me on a project. You know, that was my biggest challenge. But once I was after I had shown that I could actually obtain another certificate while on the bench, then I was put in a project to shadow where I could not do anything, right? So I could not even show, oh, I'm good with this solutioning and configuration. No, I could not show that. But the person I was shadowing, who was a solution engineer, so I was partnered with him. And so he was showing me around, so this is what we're doing, blah, 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 blah. And then one of his tasks was so tedious. So what I did was I messaged the project manager, I messaged my career manager, and I told them, at what point can I help? And what are the formalities? How can I officially be helpful without being officially a part of the project? Because I really want to do something. So they gave me something that I could do, and it had more to do with like cleaning up the documentation. Like there is this thing, artifact that they call technical document. So that's where they document the revisions, the objects that they created, the standard objects that they're using, including the APIs and whatnot, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really a technical one. But because I'm not a technical member of the team, they allowed me to kind of just clean up the template that we were using, which was a real project of it's a different project. So I was cleaning it up and kind of just leaving, let's say a long table, I would leave like the first two so that we know what we're supposed to put in there, you know? So that it was really a boring job, but
you were just trying to help. Yeah, you're trying to help any way you could. Awesome.
So they saw that I was proactive, right? And probably, I don't know if that had something to do with it, but after a couple weeks there, they put me on the internal project. Internal meaning it's really for our own use. And I was put into a project where we were trying to design the app so that we can manage the people who are employees and who are contractors to be put onto projects, right? And with every sprint, I was having so much fun that I was working on my tickets so quickly that they could not keep up. Like they would go back to the backlog of the other user stories and refine that so that they can give it to me. So, and they were so happy that after 2 sprints, one sprint is 2 weeks. After 2 sprints, there was a need for a solution engineer in an external project with the VA healthcare. And they needed a solution engineer. And my project manager was like, we have the perfect person for you. We would not like to let her go, but we're not making money here. So yeah, go ahead, get her. So yeah, internal project, no money. Billable projects means more money for the company. You have to prove your worth. So that's a tip that you've been hearing about these layoffs, and I think
what's your opinion on all that?
As far as, because I brought that up actually during a meeting today with my team before we did the sprint review. And I said, it's kind of scary seeing all these tech layoffs. And she said, well, the good thing is we are dealing with government contracts, which is more stable than others. And for my personal opinion, aside from that, if you are trying to apply for a company, I believe the bigger the company, the more stable it will be. And then the problem is, so how do you not get laid off? So I think that's the importance there, is that you show that even without anyone looking over your shoulders, you have work ethics, you deliver, and show them that you're an awesome performer, and they won't let you go, right? You have to prove your value to the company. Now, the smaller ones, they probably don't have that much cushion versus the bigger company, so that's going to be harder.
All right. Well, we are nearing an hour. Does anyone have any questions? I think I got all the ones in the chat. If I missed you and you want to come up and ask Lory a question, now is the time.
Guys, don't forget to put your URLs in the LinkedIn chat so you can connect with each other. Remember, build your network. Why did it become black now? What happened? Uh-oh.
No, they're still there. The names are still there.
But where's the wheel?
Yeah, copy that. Quick.
Refresh. Oh, okay. All right. Any more questions?
Yes, any questions? Now's the time.
Okay.
I'm typing in fast enough. Can I just ask it? Or I'll type it in. It's coming soon.
Oh, you're typing it in. Okay. How do we get on the wheel? Are you still adding names, Lory?
Where did I stop? Crispin Stromberg. Oh my God, I don't know where I stopped on the chat.
I know. Let me see if I can.
Okay,
I know.
Look at the list and see if your name is here.
Yes, this is for a drawing of a webcam. All right, so I know we have to add Ivy G. Don't see her on the list.
Can you type the name again, please, on the chat so I can just copy and put in? Ivy Gallardo.
There she did. Yep. And then did we miss anyone else? Anyone else want to be in the raffle? Now is the last chance. Type your name in the chat so she can.
Yeah, Celine Domingo. She won my last raffle.
All right.
Those who want to be part of this raffle, tell me now so I can remove you from the list.
All right. David asks, how do I know how I'm going to market myself if I'm interested in everything?
How do you know how to market yourself if you're interested in everything? Did I get that right?
Yes, that's what David asked. Yeah.
What stage of Salesforce journey are you at now? You can speak up, unmute your mic.
Okay, I'm new to the Salesforce ecosystem, but I've been in IT for over a decade. I write in a few different languages. I know infrastructure and DevOps, site reliability engineering. I've dealt with
apply to Booz Allen.
ERP. So I mean, I can go down a whole list, and I'm pretty well versed in it all. Yeah. But the only thing that I've noticed is coming into the Salesforce ecosystem a lot is the terminologies are different. So it still took a lot of learning for me, but I like Marketing Cloud and I like Sales Cloud and I like Service Cloud because they're a lot easier than what I used to have to deal with. So I'm kind of interested in it all. And I mean, this is the only place where you get to do that kind of stuff on a single platform. I mean, before I had to learn VMware and hypervisor and HA proxy and all these other load balancers and Veeam in case the company didn't want to spend the money to get the VMware suite, et cetera, et cetera. So now I just learned it all in Salesforce. So I just kind of want to do everything.
So now I have a question for you. would you be interested to enter Salesforce with what is highly in demand instead of looking for a company that will let you play on all those types of clouds?
Definitely. I just need to know what that is. I thought it was marketing cloud. I'm doing a marketing cloud email specialist cohort now.
Yeah, that's very in demand. And you can connect with Vanessa Grant, because she was really one of the first persons that I heard said, if you want to easily get a job, get into marketing cloud.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then you can go from there, once you're done playing with marketing, then explore other areas. For those who would like to make sure that you will get a job, I would highly suggest, especially if you have the healthcare background, you know how things work in the hospital setting or clinic setting, specializing in something like Health Cloud will also get you a job faster. And there's a lot of need right now that they are not even going to expect you to be accredited, but if they see that you have at least played with the modules, Health Cloud modules, or done the specialist, then they will be interested to get you in their team with your healthcare background and the Health Cloud module. You're going to be very useful to them.
With the Health Cloud module, is that basically like a refining of the medical billing systems, or I haven't seen that yet. I haven't gotten a chance to play with that.
There's a lot. Have you done any EHR, electronic health record kind of deal?
No, I volunteered at the VA for about 2 years as a medical billing specialist in Long Beach, California. But then I trained somebody with what I knew, and then they hired them. So that was fun.
Yeah, that will certainly come in handy. But it's not just that. Essentially, patient management, anything from patient intake to scheduling them to partnering them with doctors, making it easier for the, let's say you're a clinic. Let's say you're configuring something for a clinic and you want this clinic to be able to set an appointment for this patient who might need this specialty kind of service from this doctor who lives near the area. You know what I mean? So those are the things that you will have to configure. Okay, we need to find who are the doctors living in this area, who are doctors in this area who have this specialty. And then you match that with the patient needing that service. So that's the kind of configuration. And that's just one aspect. There are other aspects like how do you manage the inpatient bed management, right? Something like that.
Like how many patients there, how many beds are open and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's a lot of scenario, and that's just some of the few. Another possible scenario would be like medical devices. And let's say you have a rehab clinic and you're providing prosthetics also, so you have these medical supplies, et cetera, et cetera. So how do you manage that?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a little bit of everything. Awesome. Resource management, people management.
Mm-hmm. Even to the point of like arranging for a transportation for this disabled patient going to an appointment with the doctor. Something like that is also discussed in one of the modules in Health Cloud.
Okay. So is Health Cloud an extension of Service Cloud?
It's sort of a modification. It's really both service and sales. If you will really take a look at it, let's say there is an outpatient. Let's say you're doing home health and you are seeing this patient, and this patient is diabetic, and then you want to enroll this patient in a program for diabetes. So essentially that program becomes like a product, which is Sales Cloud. So it's almost just like a modification, but they do have that package ready for the institutions that will use that. So it will just have to be modified by people like us.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
All right, Lory, I'm gathering up the last of the names. Yep, think I got everyone, and then we can go ahead and do this raffle.
All right. Wow. I've never seen this many names.
Thank you everyone for coming.
I was going to say, Lory, I never would have won with this many people.
I did not type your name here, did I? You should not be here.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm already using it.
You already won. So.
Look at that. Look at that clear picture. It's perfect.
Love you.
Yay, congratulations.
I am going to save a screenshot of that. Just give me a moment. And then I would like a screenshot also of us all. Winner. Webcam.
Thank you so much for your time, Lory, as always.
Yes. And who's good at taking screenshots of everyone? Come on, volunteer.
I can do it.
And then post on your feed, okay?
I sure will. All right, everyone, let me see your faces. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, I did like a photo shoot. we got options. All right, everybody, thank you so much again, and thank you, Lory. This was fantastic as always.
Thank you to everyone who attended. And how do you say this? Unmute yourself, please, and teach us how to say your name. Who won the crab?
Hello, everyone. It's Uria Afrin.
Uria
Afrin.
Okay. Can you connect with me on LinkedIn?
Yeah, sure.
Give me your address, please, on a message, so I can send this to you. I hope you're in the US. Are you in the US?
No, I am in India.
Okay, it will take some time for you to get it, but I will send it to you.
But I need to know what I have won because I joined late.
A webcam.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you're winning this.
Thank you.
I have about, 9 more to give away in the next session. So, yeah. Congratulations, Uria. Don't forget to DM me your address.
Yeah, sure.
All right, everyone. You have a great the rest of the night and weekend. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I am going to save the chat. I think that's also part of the recording.
No, it's not, I think.
It's not?
No, it's not. You have to save it, Lory. I mean, unless you just did the Zoom one, right? The Zoom recording?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Let me stop recording.